Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to FORSA, a journey through African art, music, and sounds. Yes, we are broadcasting live to you from my home. This is Newark Museum of Art at Home, and I'm so pleased to be able to bring this program to you today in partnership with the Newark Museum. My name is Marcy DePina, also known as DJ MD, and music is my passion. Art is my life. Music, since I was a little girl, has always been a huge part of my life. My family ancestry is from Cabo Verde, which is in West Africa. There are 9 islands on the west coast of Africa. And that really has informed a lot of my music loves and a lot of my sort of worldview. And I think of music as being the great uniter. It is the universal language. When we are born, we're born in our mother's womb. Well, we're gestating in our mother's womb, and we're actually gestating with this polyrhythm that's happening. And this polyrhythm is what puts the music in our bodies, in our souls, in our spirits, in our hearts. And it's that language that no matter where you go, if you hear something good, you don't have to know what it's talking about. You don't have to speak the language. You may never have even heard that style of music, but somehow, some way, you find a way to groove. So this program is all about taking you on a journey through Africa and the diaspora and really looking at how the music has traveled throughout. So I want to say thank you to the Newark Museum of Art for taking a chance on this program. It's something different, and it is at home. Ideally, we would love to do this in the museum, but hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. I want to say thank you to our sponsors. We're really happy and pleased to be able to be supported by the National Endowment for the Humanities. And I said humanities, I meant humanities. And with additional support from Tito's Vodka. So if you have some Tito's at home, you should make yourself a drink, sit back and enjoy the program. And of course, hopefully that will make you dance a little bit more. And we have a couple of other things that are going to be going on with the Newark Museum of Art at Home project, and I will tell you a little bit more about that as we get into the program. So we have a lot to cover. Today, we wanted to talk about the world that speaks Portuguese. So because Cabo Verde is a former Portuguese colony, our national language is Portuguese. Amongst ourselves, our real national language is Creole. It's a mixture of a bunch of different African dialects mixed with Portuguese, and that's our language, but we were colonized by the Portuguese. And so with that, we have a deep, deep relationship with all of the other Portuguese-speaking African nations, and of course, Brazil, which has the largest Black population outside of Africa. So we're gonna take a little journey all throughout so that you guys can see. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see a little bit about what we're talking about here. So, dun, dun, dun. We're going to kick it off, as I said, with a little bit of, can you guys see my screen? I can't see. It's so interesting to be doing all these things at home. We're all like Zoom pros at this point. There we go. Okay. So there's a graphic of the beautiful Newark Museum of Art. If you haven't been, I highly suggest that you take a journey over there and at least explore the website and find out all of the wonderful art that is housed there. This is a world-class museum, and they have an incredible African art exhibit that's on display. So when you can get there and when it's safe to do so, we'll be back and you can see that. So to start our program off, we're going to have just look at a piece of art that's actually in the museum. This beautiful piece of art. We're kind of sort of honoring women today. It just kind of happened by default. I have 2 performers that are going to be joining us, both women, actually 4 performers that are joining us, 2 women and 2 young ladies that will be joining us. So this piece, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a female figure. It's a sculpture, as you can see, and it is an anthropological piece. And its origin, is in Angola, which is one of the Portuguese-speaking nations in Africa. And that region is very closely tied with Congo and West Central Africa, and it is a wealth of culture, music, art, and people, just beautiful, beautiful people. So this piece is, the medium is wood, fiber, metal, and beads. Isn't she beautiful? She's just absolutely beautiful. And the piece itself is a chokwe piece. It comes from that's the tribe, chokwe. And mahamba it's a term that refers to tutelary nature or ancestral spirits that mediate between God and people, receiving prayers and offerings to ensure their protection or soothe them. They're visualized in different materials. So what a great way to start off our program today. We're starting off our program with this gorgeous piece of African art, this beautiful female figure that's honoring our ancestors. And this is such a great way to start, and I indeed want to honor all of our ancestors, all of those who've gone before us, and really the artists of the great city of Newark that have gone before us also and laid the path so that people like myself can be up here doing what I do. So this is a program about music as well, and we're going to kick it off in Mozambique. Mozambique is a gorgeous, gorgeous country. It's in the south part of Africa. It actually borders South Africa. It's very close to the coast. It's actually on the coast. And it's a Portuguese-speaking nation. There's a lot of influence there in the culture that relates to Portugal, not just in the language, but also in the food and in some of the music as well. So to the left there, you see some gentlemen. They're playing. They're Chopi people, and that's in the southern region of Mozambique. And they are playing a type of xylophone. It's called a mbila. And when they all get together and perform as an orchestra, it's called the timbila. And it can be like 5 to 30, sometimes more people playing this. And this is music that is really used for celebrations, rites of passage, baptisms, weddings, birthdays, that sort of thing. It's made from wood. The top part of the xylophone is made from wood. And as you can see, some of them are bigger than others. And then underneath there's a calabash, which is a type of gourd, and that's what creates the resonating sound. So this is something that is used in a really significant way. And I want to start the program off with playing that for you. And I just want to point out to the right, you see some young girls that are practicing, they're learning. And then below that is another instrument from Mozambique called the biu. And I specifically picked that instrument to show you because we see different iterations of that type of instrument, this bowed instrument, throughout other Portuguese-speaking nations. So it's really interesting to see the way all of these things travel. So we're going to kick off the program with some music. Come on, I hope you guys are ready to groove. This track is a timbala track, and it's a traditional track. So. In Mozambique. We're in Mozambique playing a little bit of that timbala with a little bit of a modernness to it, adding of some percussion to get you in the groove, get you started. So Mozambique has a lot of different music. They have music that is contemporary, they have traditional music, and that is timbala. In addition to timbala, Mozambique has incredible music, some of which is shared throughout the Portuguese-speaking world, like zouk music or kizomba. And in addition, they have a type of music that is called marabenta. Marabenta. I'm going to play just a little bit of that, just to give you a flavor, because you hear the same kinds of sounds and rhythms weaved throughout all of the music from Mozambique. This track right here is by an artist who's very well known in Mozambique. Her name is Nema, and this track is called Kina Marabenta. Sounds of Mozambique. All right, we have so much to cover. This is a lot to try to get through in an hour, but we're going to do our very best. Shout out to everybody who's joining us on Facebook Live. That means you love music and history in Africa. So that's what it's all about. That's what the FORSA is all about today on this journey through African art, music, and culture. We're listening to Nema, Kina Marabenta, just one of the many styles of Mozambique. You know, there's modern styles, different type of Afrobeat, reggae, hip-hop, and so much more. So now we're going to take it over to a little tiny nation that many people don't even know about. And this nation I'm going to show you here on my screen is a very beautiful place. It's São Tomé and Principé. São Tomé and Principé is a very tiny two groups of, it's a little archipelago. There are two main islands, São Tomé and Principé, and they are, as you can see there on the map, they are right there, nestled in that bosom of Africa. And really, there's a very strong connection between São Tomé and Angola. A lot of people share blood from Angola and São Tomé, and there's also a very strong connection between São Tomé and Cabo Verde, because in São Tomé, there are a lot of plantations. They're world famous for their chocolate, for the cacao beans, and they're famous for that. And a lot of Cape Verdeans in really tough times of drought and famine found their way to São Tomé as contract workers. And I'm not going to get into it because it's too much to cover in one program, but in a lot of ways it's a sad story because those people never made it back. So I'm going to play a little bit of that music there. And on the right, you see that image, Leve Leve, one of the only compilations that was ever recorded from São Tomé. Leve Leve is a saying that they say in São Tomé, which basically means take it easy. That's what we're going to do. This track right here is by Convento Dedo, and it's called Sum Alvarinho. I hope you're grooving out there. Your feet should be moving. Your hips should be moving. Leve, leve.
Nem começoso, o saco lá na estrada só pra foto de outro alguém. Una que quae, uma ladrão campestre só por conceito de selva. Me fono do cuna e sa sopeto que lá tem se leva ao mundo san. Uma dedo na capa do befa, se la ya la la só. Nem começoso, o saco lá na estrada só pra foto de outro alguém. Una que quae, uma ladrão campestre só por conceito de selva. Me fono do cuna e sa sopeto que lá tem se leva ao mundo san. E a fuma dedo na capa do elefa, se la ya la la só. Mas de hoje essa fundada, uma de prato que cê fala.
Hey, now we're taking over to Juca. Juca is one of the most famous, actually, artists from São Tomé and Principé. And this track is actually called São Tomé and Principé. Let's get into it. Rockin' with DJ MD. It's the FORSA program, Newark Museum of Art. We're taking a journey through Africa, African art, music and culture. We're exploring the world of countries that speak Portuguese in Africa, and that includes Brazil. Right now we're in São Tomé. Yes. All right. It's time to go to another location. Where are we going to go next? All right. I think we should go to Guinea. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea is the sister country to Cabo Verde. We won our independence together. We're right next to each other. Guinea-Bissau is a beautiful country, and it has a bunch of islands. Bissau is actually one of the main islands, and it's known for its very rich culture. There are so many styles of music in Guinea, traditional styles of music, a multitude of different types of instruments, so much so that you find their instruments featured on the stamps from the 80s and 90s. Even up until now, you'll see stamps that have musical instruments. But this instrument that's here on the left side, the dondon, is a very well-known instrument. And I wanted to use this because you see different forms of this throughout the diaspora. You see it in other African nations, and you see it in a lot of different places. I've seen something like this played in Trinidad. You see it played in Cuba, and a couple of other places that I've seen it played something similar to that. So I wanted to just highlight that particular instrument. To the right, more women. Yes, we're celebrating women today. We really, truly are. We should be celebrating women every day, I'm just saying. But there's some women there that are getting ready for a celebration. That's actually a carnival picture. So carnival is another theme that is thread throughout all of these nations. And to the bottom, that is Tabanca Jazz, which is one of the most well-known groups from Guinea. So I'm going to play a little bit. There's a style of music called gumbe, and this is one of those songs. It's actually more of a modern take on it by Menekas Costa. It's called Junda Junda, and let's get into it.
Talvez o castigo de Deus é comanda, não tem culpada. Junda, 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 junda. Itadana mama, yeah, mama. Junda, junda, yeah, junda, 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 junda. Itadana mama.
Yes, the beautiful, beautiful sounds of Guinea. Let that music transport you. Just imagine yourself. You're on the coast of Africa someplace. Well, not any place. You're actually in Guinea-Bissau. Maybe you're in Bissau itself. You're sitting back. You're having some beautiful peanuts. And you're enjoying the vibes. You're enjoying the breeze of the ocean. The beautiful music. The beautiful smiles. The sounds of the language being spoken. So, Guinea, like I said, is Cabo Verde's sister country. We share so much in common. One of those things is language, and definitely musical styles. I'm going to just play a little bit of Tabanca Jazz, one of the most famous groups from Guinea. This track is actually called Guinea. Tabanca Jazz.
storia bonito, sino que aperto o tempo na vez tu conosco. Ei, 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 tempo na vez tu, oye, irmãos, tempo na vez tu conosco. Mas quem não vinha sofrido, senhora da história bonito, sino que aperto o tempo na vez tu conosco. Ei, 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 tempo na vez tu, oye, o ansiedade non appena non contrada, suma che figliuta per ragazzi si mambe. O ansiedade non appena non contrada, suma che figliuta per ragazzi si mambe. O corso marado, sentido ardigado, e mi mundi mamagina e non visti. O corso marado, sentido ardigado, e mi mundi mamagina e non visti.
That brings me back to a place. Guinea, Tabanka Jazz. One of the best shows I've ever been to was Tabanka Jazz in New York City at SOB's. They tore down the house. This is a classic group. If you are from the Portuguese-speaking world, Tabanka Jazz is that band. Very important band. So, we're gonna keep it moving. Now we're starting to travel across the ocean, just a little bit, just a little bit, but we're not quite going over to the Atlantic yet. But we started out in Mozambique, we came down to Sao Tomé, on the other side, on the west side of where the Atlantic is, then we went up to Guinea-Bissau, up in West Africa, and now we're gonna go just a little bit further west, all the way to Cabo Verde. And there's so much to talk about here, so I had to limit myself because, of course, this is my own culture. So I'm just going to share a little bit of the screen so you guys can just see some of the images. I was trying not to be biased, you know. Full transparency. All right, there's Cabo Verde. I just wanted to point out a couple of things. If you see that first picture that's there in the middle, you see the gentleman and the woman there. He has a simboa. You see, it's a very similar instrument to that bio that we saw from Mozambique. It has a gourd, it has a bow, and we'll see that instrument again as we continue to travel. But those two folks, they are gearing up to do a very traditional style of music called finação. And finação is a type of music that precedes batuko. And that's what they're doing. And, you know, finação and the simboa is actually really hard to find these days. You don't see it very much. So tradition's very, very important. To the right there, you have a gentleman. He is playing a conch shell, buzio, and that is part of tabanca, which is another traditional style of music. A tabanca, the word tabanca actually means village. It's a Guinea's word. Comes from Guinea, and it means village. And this indeed is a style that if you look at the islands of Santiago, and some other islands have different versions of it as well, people do this music, and different villages have their own, you know, rhythms, their own ways in which they present it. To the left, we have batuko. People often think of it as a woman's dance, and there are a lot of women who do batuk, but men can do it too. In the middle, we have ferro gaita, which was actually a show that I presented in New York, also at SOB's. Ferro gaita, the two key instruments are, and this is an interesting blend of European and African elements. To the right, you have a ferrinho, which is just a piece of iron, and a butter knife. You see that throughout. You see that in Dominican Republic, Cuba, Puerto Rico. You see it in Brazil. This type of instrument shows up again and again and again. It has traveled. And to the left, you see an accordion there, which we're pretty sure came from the Portuguese influence. And then to the right is Carnaval, because I can't leave out my people from Mindelo and São Vicente because they love their Carnaval. And we all know that Brazil, there's that connection there. So they call that island the Little Brazil. So I have a special guest who's joining me. She's joining us. Tita, unmute yourself and welcome to the program. Hi, my darling.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. I'm so happy to have you. Tita is she is just an incredible, she is the batucadera. Batuk, the style of music that's there on the left. And Tita, there you are. There we go. There's Miss Tita. Tita is one of the best, for me, the best batucadera in the United States. She plays chabeta, which is the style of instruments that you play. She has a djembe with her today, so she'll be able to play a little bit louder because this is really this isn't something that one person does by themselves. So, Tita, can you just talk a little bit about what batuku is and what it means for women and what it means for you?
To me personally, batuk is a way to freedom. I feel like when I'm dancing batuk, that's my time with my ancestors. That's a way for a communication they used back then, and they felt free, and that's how I felt. Like they felt at the time. And when I'm dancing, to me, there's nobody else. It's just me in my world, and I feel like batuk it's just in my blood. It's just something. It was a gift to us when we were younger, and I can't let it go. It's just in me. I just feel free when I'm dancing it. Words really cannot explain the way I feel when I'm really, really doing it. But I feel really free when I am dancing.
Well, you're beautiful all the time, but I understand what you mean because batuk is really, it's something that's from the soul. You utilize, as you'll see in a minute, you utilize so much of your hips, that waistline, you're moving that waistline. So it's all that feminine energy just coming out. And for us, it's a form of communication. Batuk has been traditionally used in different villages. Women gather, men can gather too. And what happens is you gather in a circle, and you'll see this over and over again throughout the styles of music that we've talked about. So you gather in a circle, one woman gets in the front, and she's the lead batucadera, and she gives out a call, and all of the women around respond to her, and she dances. And the women that are around in the circle are playing the chabeta, they're playing the drum, and they're playing. Tita, if you could just demonstrate the rhythm of batuk for us.
Back in the day, it wasn't a drum itself. It was like a bag full of clothes. They stuck the clothes inside the bag until you see the leg, and that's how they use it to play. Hey. I remember when I was little, there was just every day at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, all the neighbors get around and just sit down and start playing. That's how I started. I remember 5, 6 years old. I'm getting sick, no money. I can't even
I see you're already being transported there. I love it. And now if you can see, Tita is moving.
Yes.
This is a double and a triple rhythm together. So that's a serious polyrhythm. It takes an incredible amount of dexterity to play batuk. This is not something simple. And the more you play, the faster it gets, the more in it, and then you're basically in a trance. So could you just show us a little bit of the dance? We're not going to do a whole song, but just a little bit of a song. I have a song that Tita picked, and I want to just show you guys a little bit of the music. This is not the traditional music. This is a produced, studio produced music. Tita is putting on a pano de terra, right? And how do you call this? What would you call this? Pano?
This is pano. Pano terra would be this one, which will be a quilt. This is the original one.
That's the traditional. That's the traditional Cape Verdean pattern, and you put it around your waist, and that's when you know whoever has that around the waist is the one that's stepping to the middle, and she's about to get it in. So here we go. This song is for the folks at home. This song is by the Mulheres de Bom Esperança, and I absolutely love it.
Dorme
Tita, you're so into it. I hate to stop you. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, the skill, y'all see the skill that it takes to do that. Not only is she dancing and moving those hips, but she had a basket on top of her head. Okay, that's not easy to do. And this, as Tita said, is something that brings joy. So this, women really do bring, carry on the culture. They really do. They carry on the culture. We carry children in our womb. We pass that information on to children. And when you look at a style like batuko, you really see how that tradition gets carried on. But that style has been used for social commentary. Like, if that's happening in your neighborhood and you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, you should stay away from the batuko circle. Wouldn't you say so, Tita?
Right.
But so thank you for that. And we're gonna there's so many songs I'd love to play from Cabo Verde, but we have to keep it moving. And you just did a great job of really showing the heart of the music that we have from Cabo Verde. So we're gonna take it over to Angola, but I want you to stay with us, Tita, because you're gonna also show us a little bit of the dance from Angola. So Angola is another country that has a wealth of music. I mean, there's so much. We could be here all day. Mbiganda is a style of music that you see there on the left from Angola. It's umbigo is belly button in Portuguese, and it's a style of music where you dance and you bump your bellies together. And you see that over and over again. Even some people who dance, some styles of batuko that people do in different islands, they do that where they bang their, I shouldn't say bang, bump their umbilical cords together. And certainly musics like semba, which is another style from Angola, people will do, there's a lot of movement there. Tarashinha, which is another style, partner dancing that came out of Angola. There's a lot of that connection there that's really bringing that life force energy of two people together in a moment. To the right, you see a type of thumb piano. It is not that big. It's actually pretty portable. It's not that big. It's called the kizomba, and that's a traditional instrument that you hear in Angola. And below that is a type of gourd percussion instrument that is often used in more religious types of ceremonies. But I wanted to show you those two instruments in particular because that gourd style of instrument you see throughout the all throughout the Portuguese-speaking African nations, and of course in the diaspora. And that imbira, the thumb piano, you see that also. There's a style in Colombia that you see that same thing. So I just want to play a little bit of sort of that, how that type of instrument gets put into modern music, and then I'm going to have Tita join us again. And this song is actually called Marimbadas by Doutorado Pro. And just imagine that imbira. You hear that? I thought you might like this song too, Tita. Hey! So you hear how those elements get weaved in. This is obviously a modern style of music. Doutorado Pro is a sort of like an Afro house kuduro producer, really well known from Angola. And this is, those modern elements are the traditionals being weaved into the modern. And we're not even getting into like samba and all that stuff because we'll be here literally until tomorrow and maybe even after. But I'd like to invite Tita back because kuduro is another style of music from Angola that's super popular. I'm just going to play a little bit of this track, and I just want Tita to just give us a slight demonstration of this type of dance from kuduro. And there's this real, as you can see, there's a real relationship between all these countries. All of our music, we listen to it all. We share all of this in the rhythms, the dances, the people, the language, of course, all shared without. All right, Tita. This song is called African Beauty. How appropriate by Say Cuatro Pedro.
Say Cuatro Pedro. DJ Maporiza. Yeah, now. She's a perfect one. I thank God 'cause she's mine. She make me feel so good. That's why I love her. She got all that beauty, mama. Oh, African beauty, yeah, yeah, yeah. I want you to stay with me forever. African beauty.
I love you. You're so beautiful. Thank you so much. Yes. When she goes, we go. So I hope y'all are dancing and grooving to this beautiful, beautiful music from Angola. Thank you, Tita. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful. All right. So that's just a little bit from Angola. Like I said, we could go on for a very long time with the music from Angola. We didn't even scratch the surface. We just talked a little bit, but that's what this is about. It's just giving you a little taste because we're on a journey. So I'm going to share my screen because we have another piece of art that I want to show you that actually is very much a part of this program today. So isn't she beautiful? Isn't she gorgeous? We started off with a gorgeous sculpture that was from Angola, and now we have made our way across the Atlantic, and we have just arrived in Brazil. And there we have this beautiful queen, this beautiful woman, doing exactly what Miss Tida was just doing. She is holding on the top of her head. She's carrying so elegantly her basket on top of her head, and her beautiful baby on her back. The strength, the beauty, the grace of this woman is absolutely beautiful. She is, this is titled The Portrait of a Black Woman, and it's a profile of her, as I mentioned, with her baby tied on her back, from the province of Bahia, Brazil. And this is from the 1860s to 1870s. It's obviously a photograph, and it's by João Gostin. And it was gifted, actually, to the Newark Museum from Emma von Seyfried, who's Seyfried, in memory of her parents. And it was gifted in 1941. So absolutely beautiful, beautiful photograph there. So now that we are in Brazil, Brazil is another place that just has so much music. And a lot of people are very familiar with the music of Brazil because it has become worldwide. I mean, artists like Anitta and people like Daniela Mercury and João Jobim, and I mean, we can go on and on and on, from bossa nova to Brazilian popular music and everything in between. Brazilian music has really, really, really found its way into the hearts of many people around the world, and indeed, especially here in the Americas. So I have some more special guests that are going to be joining us. And we're going to start off. I'm going to go to the next slide. So there's just a little bit. Another place that I could have gone overboard with all the images because there were so many. And as you see, that's just a little sampling of the culture. We're looking at sort of, Brazil's a massive country. It's as big as the United States. And to the left, you see candomblé. And again, you see this idea of women gathering in a circle with one in the middle. And, you know, she is basically leading what's going on. Candomblé is a type of spiritual practice, and it's done by women. And it's really beautiful. There's a lot of fantastic music that's come out of that. And that music actually, and the music of capoeira, which you see on the right there. And again, if you notice that instrument there, which is called the berimbau in Brazil, is one of the central instruments to capoeira. And we saw that. That was the bio in Mozambique. and the simboa in Cabo Verde. So we see it again, it showed up in Brazil. So you see that continuity, that journey of that beautiful instrument that made its way all the way over to Brazil and transformed itself into the berimbau and became the base of the music of capoeira. So those two cultural elements, candomblé and capoeira, were extremely important and the foundations and the cradle of the African culture, the Afro-Brazilian culture that exists in Brazil. And those are two forms of resistance, cultural resistance, continuing on with a religion that had to be disguised as Catholicism, as Christianity, in order to keep it going. So many people know the different gods' names that come from candomblé, and they've been synchronized with saints from the Catholic tradition. And capoeira, also a martial art, a deadly martial art that was disguised as a dance because it was forbidden. It was forbidden. And what most people know about Brazil is what you see on the bottom left there, which is a little bit of the carnival. Now, I didn't put in the traditional picture of the woman, dressed in her carnival clothing, but we all know samba. We know the rhythm of samba. And to the right is the very famous group Oladum, and they're known for their, what we would call in the United States, their drum line, their back line, right? That's that drum line. You hear that all throughout where people of African descent are. So I'm so pleased to be able to bring to us, we have 3 special guests, and it looks like you guys have somebody else with you too, all the way there. Yes, hello, hello, hello. We are going to be able to experience Brazil live. Hi, ladies. Hello, hello. How are you? Hi. Thank you so much for joining us. So I'd like to introduce, we have Deborah, also known as Dancing Deborah, or Deborah Fogo, which means fire. She is our sambista. She's an educator and a teacher. She's based here in New Jersey, and her 2 twin daughters who are capoeiristas, Delilah and Maya, who are joining us from the Afro-Brazilian Cultural Center, right, in Bloomfield, on Bloomfield Avenue. And you have somebody with the berimbau. Who are you, kind sir?
My name is Mestre Gaivota.
Mestre Gaivota. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And look at that. We have a whole scene of Brazil behind you guys. So thank you so much. Now, I want to just say that we're going to have a little bit of samba with Deborah, but I want to point out that Delilah and Maya, I saw them like 3 years ago doing capoeira, and they have just advanced so much. They are incredible, and to watch them, so I'm so excited that they're here. So thank you guys for joining us. I think we'll start with you, Deborah, and we're going to just do one song because we're running out of time. So do you have a preference of what you want me to play for you? Or do you want to start with capoeira? It's up to you guys, whichever you feel. You want to start with capoeira first? Okay. Are you going to play live? It looks like you're going to play live.
Yeah.
You want me to play your song, or you want me to play live? You tell me. I'm your DJ. What a treat for the people at home. Everybody on Facebook, thank you guys so much for joining us. You have a lot of comments in the comment section. Amazing. Happy I joined. Beautiful. Cabo Verde. Hey, Josephine. Tita. Oh, Tita was muffled. I'm sorry, Tita, if you were muffled. Gaji, how you doing? Okay. Beautiful. So we don't need music. You're going live.
Yeah.
Music? Yes or no? Beautiful. Wow. Thank you, ladies. I want to ask you just a couple of questions, if you don't mind, because you know, watching your evolution and seeing you all just grow so beautifully. How does it feel to be playing capoeira with your sister, your twin sister? And tell everybody how old you two are.
It feels amazing to play with each other. I'm 13 and she's 13, but we're going to be 14 next month.
You're almost 14. Wow. What does capoeira mean to you?
Well, it's always been sort of like a way. Yeah.
It's been like a what? I didn't hear that.
Like a way of life. We sort of grew up on capoeira, and capoeira to us, well, not only is a way of defense, but it's also a way to grow a family. It's a way to bond with people, and at the same time, in martial arts at the same time.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Have you ever had to use those moves on anybody who was bothering you?
Not yet.
I feel bad for anybody who tries to mess with the two of you because you two are fierce. And I love that you pointed out that capoeira is not just a way of life, but it's a way to bond with other people and to build your family. Thank you to all of the performers in the back, the musicians. Thank you, Mestre. Thank you guys so much. What a treat for us to have live music and for you to have that berimbau that we just saw the whole journey of that from Mozambique all throughout Africa and landed right here in New Jersey. So thank you guys. Thank you. Yes. So Deborah is up next. She's going to show us. Thanks, ladies. She is going to show us samba. Now, most people know about samba. Most people are very familiar because Brazil, like I was saying, has really truly found its way into the hearts of us all. And it's just an absolutely beautiful dance. And Deborah, you're a teacher, so for those that are interested in learning capoeira or learning samba, can you tell them a little bit about the school and where they can come to learn?
So this is my second home. It's the Afro-Brazilian Cultural Center in Bloomfield, New Jersey. I'm also a dance teacher at Spark. Yes, right there in Newark. That's also my third home. I teach kindergarten to 4th grade, and here I teach capoeira and samba and many, many more dances. So yeah, the dance school and the studio is where I live.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So Deborah is going to, you look absolutely stunning, by the way. Like, I love it. When I was getting ready, I was like, okay, I have to look because I'm representing for the ladies and we're all just so magnificent and shining and looking at you, you know, I think the adornments of women, I really feel like are so special, and it's such an expression of your personality, of your beauty, of your joy, of your femininity, and even of your motherhood, like even of all of that rolled up into one. So seeing that beautiful image that we saw, the woman, the sculpture, and then the second with the woman from Bahia to the back, and then to you with your two girls, and Tita's also a mother, it's just absolutely beautiful. So thank you. And I wore this in, you know, honor of all the queens, of which you are one of them. So thank you for joining us. So I'm gonna play your song. Everybody, get ready. It's Deborah Fogu. to like put down my phone because I'm also streaming on, you know, Instagram and all of that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Absolutely beautiful. That is samba. I mean, I literally just felt like I was in Brazil. Thank you so much to all of you, Deborah, Maya, and Delilah, and the whole crew over there at the Afro-Brazilian Cultural Center for bringing us on that journey to Brazil. If you are interested in learning how to samba, learning about Afro-Brazilian arts, capoeira, you definitely need to check out the Cultural Center. Where is it located, Deborah? Just let everybody know where it's located.
It's 554 Bloomfield Ave in Bloomfield, New Jersey. Right next to
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, and now you're doing virtual classes, so let everybody know where they can find you on Instagram and Facebook.
So I have my own website, dancefogo.com. You can register for the classes. I also do private classes, parties, you know, even virtual quinceañeras, and we also do Instagram Live and Facebook Live.
Beautiful. And Tita, I'm not going to expose your girls of where they can be followed. Thank you, ladies. I can't wait to see your growth. Tita, let everybody know where they can follow you. And I want to see some batuko classes virtually because I need them. I'm like ashamed. My batuko is not strong like yours. I need to work on it. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Batuqueira, and you can find me on Instagram.
You can find Tita. Your Instagram. Preta 78, right?
Yes.
Preta. Preta. What does preta mean?
Preta means black.
Yes, preta means black, and this is something that we say as a term of endearment. It's affection, it's love. Nothing to be. It's a beautiful thing. Black is beautiful. Thank you, Tita. Thank you for joining us. It's really been a pleasure. I feel like we went everywhere, and I hope you all have enjoyed this program. I want to say, thank you so much. I want to say thank you to the museum, to Stephen in particular, and Sylvia, and Catherine for taking a chance with me on this program. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. I'm DJ MD. You can find me on all social media at Marcy DePina. The name of my group is, what I do is called FORSA. I have a radio show called FORSA that's on NORC.fm, and I often play this type of music and so much more. So we're going to be back again on Friday, October 23rd at 7 p.m. right here again on Facebook Live with the next journey that we're going to take. And I'm not telling you yet where we're going to go. You'll have to tune in to find out. I want to say special thanks again to the National Endowment for the Humanities for supporting this program and making this program possible. And of course, Tito's vodka. Handmade. I hope you have some in your hand at home and that you were dancing along with all of us. And I also want to let you know, because Newark Museum of Arts at Home has all this great program, so make sure you check out the website and join tomorrow. There's a fabulous roundtable that's happening virtually, and it is called What is Latinx? What is Latinx? Have you wondered what Latinx is? That's a term that everybody's talking about now. It's happening tomorrow, Saturday, September 26th, at 3 p.m. on either Zoom or Facebook Live. So you can just go to the website. You're already on Facebook Live or you're on Zoom, so get more information there. And we have a couple more minutes. I'm just going to play two songs as we ride on out of here, two songs that I really wanted to play. One is from Cabo Verde, and the other one, we'll take it, we're going to go back to where we started, which was Mozambique. This track right here is going to give you, this is that conch shell that I was talking about. Hey! It's called Berço d'Ouro by Elida Almeida. Come on, y'all. You can dance a little bit.
Walking passes novo, gasta de fiança, livras-mo flazoso na mar costa patar. Oh, le, 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 a mina sina versidor. Oh, le, 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 nada na mar de falus. Oh, le, 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 a mina sina versidor. Oh, le, 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 nada na mar de falus. Corre traz de manuzinho, cusi corneta, tava da pupa, juga ouro, kusama lobi, ó quem ganha el bugaita me.
Yes, she's giving you all the history and the culture in that song. She's shouting out all the ancestors. Nasia Gomi, Semi Lopi. These are beautiful elders from the Cape Verdean music traditions. Berço de Ouro. She's talking about she's from where all the gold is. Yes. Like I promised, we're going to take you over to Mozambique. We're going to end right where we started. Once again, I'm Marcy Depina, MarcyDepina, and you can find me on all social media at that handle. DJ MD, it's been a pleasure rocking with you all and taking you on this journey. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves as much as I have. Thank you again to Tida, Batucadeira Tida, Preta, Querida, I love you. And thank you to Deborah Fogel and Maya and Delilah. And of course to the Newark Museum. It's Newark Museum at home. Thank you all for rocking with your girl. We're going to end it up in Mozambique. We're ending on a high note. Come on, y'all. We got to.
Is it James? Hey. Hey. Hey.
I'm going to make a playlist. You can find it on all of my social media. I'll send it to the Newark Museum so you can go back and look at all this and listen and dance to all this fabulous music. And I'll add some more too. Some songs that I'd have liked to have played long form version. But we didn't have enough time for that. So a little bit of education. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Thank you again. Thank you to Newark Museum of Art. Thank you, Stephen, for being the man behind the scenes. Thank you, Tita, Deborah, Maya, and Delilah. Until the next time, everybody, peace, love, and FORSA!